What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your match reaction. It's Everton 2, Brentford 3. The ref's an absolute knob. Thanks for watching. All jokes aside, the game was spun on that decision. In my opinion, I think Everton were well in the game. So let's get into this. There was a few changes due to players being out, injuries, different things, which was disappointing. Delph, Alan, neither of them started, which meant Corvée and Gomez came in. Jared Brantwaite started defensively. He started at the back, and Everton looked fairly solid. We were comfortable with Brentford. We easily could have been 1, if not 2-0 up, even before we scored our goal. We were just better than them in every department, and to be honest, we would have won comfortably, like absolutely comfortably, 3-4-0, because Brentford were really poor. Like they were really poor, and this isn't me digging out Brentford; they were just shit. Then again, after going 1-0 up, we get done. We get done by the ref yet again. It is a blatant penalty on Richarlison. His shirt is practically pulled off his body. Yet he stands on his feet, doesn't get a penalty. They go down the other end. Brantwaite makes a mistake, gets alongside of their striker and clips him. I mean, it's a complete accident, but he is the last man and he gets sent off. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened, and this is what pisses me off. You know, there'll be people on other fan channels, and this isn't a direct pop at people, but this is what you see. You see, these are people that I class as my friends, and you see and you hear what they're saying, and they'll always say, you know, you shouldn't use the referee's decisions as excuses. Let's be honest, how many points have Everton been fucked out of so far this season? I'd argue it's probably about 10. Southampton, Man City, Liverpool maybe a point. Today, 3 for sure. I was convinced we were beating Brentford. I think we've been done out of between 8 and 10 points this season in VAR decisions. It's been appalling. And I'd argue that Everton have had the biggest decisions go against them. What I'm saying at is the most obvious. I'm not saying that every single team has not had bad VAR decisions. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that Everton have had incredibly obvious ones. Manchester City today, Liverpool, and they hurt, especially when Everton are down the bottom. Now, I am convinced, absolutely, 100%, and any fan from any channel is more than welcome to come on out, but I am convinced the Premier League are trying to send down Everton, and I don't understand why, don't get it, but I'm convinced they are. And maybe it's because we are the club that over the years has stood up to the top 6. You know, we were the club that was on the outside of the top 4. I just think it's a case of they do not like us, and we are getting incredibly poor decisions on a far too regular basis. Today, Michael Oliver, for example, has sent off 4 Everton players in his last 4 appearances reffing against Everton. 4. Now, I would argue that 2 of them was completely not justified. But, you know, there's no, you know, you're not allowed to talk about that. It's complete bollocks. It is complete bollocks. So I just don't know. I don't want to start a video where I'm not necessarily digging out the players, because trust me, there's 1 or 2 that's about to get a rifle planted, like aimed at them, and shots are going to be fired. But the biggest shot today was the linesman and the referees, because they were a disgrace. And on top of that, the VAR official, Stephen, England, Britain, English, whatever his name is, that didn't feel like that Richarlison one was a penalty. I mean, that is an absolute joke. And on top of that, when we do get a penalty, which I suppose at that point he has to give it, albeit it's Stonewall anyway, why doesn't he send him off? Why doesn't he send the Brentford player off who's already on a yellow card? So he's reduced Everton to 10, give us a penalty, but not sent their 11th player off. It's a joke. It's so obvious. It's actually like It's hilarious, and when you think about the complexities of these decisions, there isn't any. He brings him down. It is a penalty. You could argue he was the last man in that position. Why is he on the pitch? I mean, fortunate enough, Richarlison slopped it home, makes it 2-1 after they equalise from a little bit of pressure when Everton have only got 10 men. Trust me, Brentford are not in this game if it stays at 11 men, or if it goes to 10v10. The second half's a completely different half. As it was, Brentford, to their credit, came on and battled. They fought, they was aggressive. They knew that they had that little bit extra space and they were starting to pick holes in it. You've got Akinfenwa in the middle. It weren't Akinfenwa, but he absolutely looks like Akinfenwa, and I don't know who it is, but he was solid, he was strong, he was quick, passing the ball out. Ericsson doing exactly the same, Ivor Toney. But I can't say they caused us mega problems. It was just balls into the box. Coleman didn't defend very well at all today. Mason Holgate was the opposite. I actually felt like Mason Holgate did a good job. Yet again, by the way, I felt like he did, again, a good job. Fairly solid. Mikalenko, exactly the same. Always come from that side the corner. That box, that area, that cross. It's just ridiculous how poor we are at defending from the right-hand side of our pitch. You know, the amount of times when the ball would pop out on the right-hand side and Iwobi would carry the ball. So as a result of carrying the ball, he'd be out of position. And I can't fault Iwobi for that. He's doing a job that he's putting the team to do. But then defensively, we'd be shocking. You know, Anthony Gordon was absolutely blew his head gasket after 65 minutes and had to get rightly substituted for Damari Gray. But the other substitutions, I don't understand necessarily Kenny. I understand he put Iwobi into midfield, but I would just left him and brought on another midfielder. I don't get it. Like, Coleman could have easily come off. Leave Iwobi at right back. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand the thought logic in some of the decisions today. But I can't dig out Frank too much because I'm grateful for the fact that we're even in this position. We only need 1 point to stay up. And that 1 point is because Leeds happened to get a last-minute equaliser today. Otherwise, we were safe on goal difference anyway, and I wouldn't have been bothered. I just want this season to end. I literally want to get the Palace game, get a point, 1 point, job done. Because there's no way there's going to be a 19-goal swing. Burnley have got Aston Villa away and Newcastle at home. They easily could not win any of those games. Leeds have got Brentford away. I'm not being funny. They've just put us to the sword. They've beaten Chelsea and teams like that away. I easily can see either Burnley or Leeds not winning, which means we stay up. So I'm not sitting here mega stressed because we did our job getting that win against Leicester, getting a point against Watford, beating Chelsea, beating Manchester United. But it is the teams that are between, say, 8th and 20th that seem to cause Everton problems. And today, Brentford did that. Now, I want to give a shout out, and this is not me absolutely obliterating someone, but it also is. Abdoulaye Doucouré today was appalling. Certainly in the second half, it was absolutely shocking. Tackles were going through him. When he was carrying the ball out, his passes were terrible. He was turning his head and going backwards. He was a coward today. Now, I've criticised Doucouré a few times this season, but I've also, at the start of the season, said he was incredible. So, I hate saying what I'm about to say. He should have come off today. He 100% should have came off today. Because Gomez, madly as I'm going to say this, I actually felt had a better game. I actually felt his distribution was better. I felt like he tried more. I felt like Doucouré was a headless chicken in the middle of the park who either give a foul, got in a fight, or just lost the ball. apart from maybe the first 25 minutes where I thought, this is a Decore. You know, and what was frustrating was I'd put him in my BetMate team for the channel sponsor. So, don't ever listen to my advice. If you're on BetMate, do not pick the same 7 players that I do from one team and 6. Don't do it. Just don't. Thanks for your support on it as well. Massive. If you could support the next game, Palace, that would be great. But, yeah, frustrating day. And Everton typically fold. You know, we could see 2 really poor goals in 2 minutes. You know, again, defending, corner comes in and it's whipped in. Literally, every single time when it hit the net, I rolled my eyes. You know, when the Rico Henry one hit the net, I thought, oh, here we go. And then that was it. It was 3-2 within 3 minutes. And you could see it coming. You know, Everton then go down to 9 men. I think that is probably Rondon's last game in an Everton shirt because he came on, he committed an atrocity and then ran off. And what surprised me actually, and this again isn't a dig at anyone, but he ran off the pitch, fair enough. He knew he'd made a mistake. He'd ran off the pitch. He clapped as he ran off the pitch, which, again, I mean, your team's now down to 9 men, so don't get it. And Lampard actually shook his hand. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is the kid. This was the roll of the dice that you've just gone for because we weren't playing the midfield at that point. It was literally 4 and 5. There was a complete gap in the middle because Damari Gray, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Rondon, Decore, all of those were up that end of the pitch and you literally had Mason Holgate clearing balls off the line. Pickford going long. It was literally, it was worse than Sam Allardyce's football, which again, I'm not criticising anyone for because that was the position when we only needed a goal. So I get it. You know, you could have literally, in my mind, stuck 3 defenders at the back and stuck everyone up front. I wouldn't have minded. Because from a losing position, at this point, it is just a point. It's just 1 goal. So that 1 point keeps us up because even if we lost today 4-2, Leeds still have got to pull back 19 goals in 1 game. It's not going to happen. So I'd have gone for it. I would have absolutely gone for it. And I felt like he did. Lampard rolled his dice with Rondon. And I don't get it. Like, I don't understand what was going through a 32-year-old's mind to go in like that. I have no idea. But especially when, you know, I was thinking between Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin and Rondon, one of them's going to get a chance. And it just wasn't to be. It was a really, really, really gutting afternoon after 20 minutes. Because we also did have chances to score in that second half. Literally, we could have made it 3-1. I think Richarlison gets down the right-hand side, whips in the ball. Calvert-Lewin's nowhere near it. It's like he was immobile. And again, I'm not sitting there digging this kid out because he hasn't played consistently. He hasn't been in match form for probably the majority of the season at this point. But I almost felt like there was a lack of intensity to get to the ball. And I don't know if that's a tactic or a ploy or it's just he's lazy at the minute. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. What I will say is, as always, and we got in there, the crowd were fantastic. They welcomed the coaching. It was a bit of a nightmare, the coach getting in, but they got in. The crowd was brilliant. The flares, the smoke, it was amazing as always. I had Finley on my shoulders. I had my wife next to me. I had lots of people today come up to me and send me love and give me support for the channel. And all of you mean so much. I had somebody from New Zealand come up to me. Very, very, very grateful. If this was you, put it in the comments because I do see them. You know, it was just great. I had John, who again, he's been very active on our channel over the years, you know, in terms of comments and whatever. I've almost banned him once. Sitting right behind me in the stadium. I had people taking photos with me. And It was a really lovely family atmosphere today, and it was great, but it was really disappointing that we got shafted, because I think we win this. I even think we score an equaliser in the last 5 minutes with 10 men, but as soon as it went down to 9, we were done. And I think to any Brentford fans, look, congratulations, you got the 3 points. I'm sure that makes you really happy and whatever. Fine. But I think you've got a big job on your hands next season, because as good as you've looked at times this season, I think that second season syndrome might hit you lot really hard. So, you know, there's no malice towards Brentford whatsoever. I hope it doesn't, because I think, you know, I'd rather it happen to other teams. I'd rather other teams go down, but I do think Brentford could be in deep trouble next season, because they seem to have one pattern of play in that game. And it might be a one-off. I don't sit here watching Brentford every week, but today I felt like it was readable. I felt like it was obvious. But they got the result, and you've got to credit that. Thomas Frank made decisions that won them the game today, whereas Frank Lampard had his hands tied behind his back, yes, because he was down to 10 men. But I don't know if the subs worked, if I'm being honest. So, guys, I'm leaving it there anyway. I'm tired. It's a long trip. It's a long round trip. 2 hours, 20 minutes to get there. 2 hours, 20 minutes to get back. We were there early in the hub and everything. Walked around the ground. Lovely photos. Obviously, Twitter and Instagram. Have a look. And I'm ready for bed. Hence why I'm in my little boy's room and he's getting ready and showering and whatever. Guys, I'll see you soon. Keep smiling. 1 point on Thursday, and then that's it. That's it. End this season. Just stay up. That's all I ask. Peace.